Today is the 31st of December. A lot of us are waiting for 2020 to go and take all the pain away with it and hoping for a far better, a far more prosperous 2021. And of course, one of the first exams in 2021 is XLRI. And this is one of the very, very few places right now online where XAT maths paper ka discussion ho raha hai apne dam pe, right? So great guys, let's continue. First of all, a quick introduction. Hi, I'm Munira Lokhandwala, an alumnus from IIM Calcutta, a serial 100 percentiler in CAT and a 99 percentiler in GMAT. I've been teaching for the past 20 years, and I also have a CAT verbal book that's published by Wiley, available on Amazon, guys. You can find me here on the Unacademy YouTube CAT for MBA channel. I also take lectures regularly. I'm just checking whether I'm live or not, right? So just excuse this distraction. So there's some ad coming. Anyway, so yeah, I take sessions regularly on the Unacademy YouTube CAT for MBA channel. I also take sessions on the special Unacademy app and the live sessions as well, guys, for plus batches. So you can find out when I'm taking sessions by subscribing to the Unacademy CAT for MBA channel, or you can join the Crack Cat Unacademy Telegram channel so that you can get regular updates and not miss out on any important session that will help you for your MBA preparation, right? Some upcoming batches that you should know about, especially if you're preparing for CAT 2021, there is a complete weekday batch that has just started on Monday. I'll be taking the LRDI, Professor Ronak will be taking the math, and Professor Neha will be taking the verbal. And there's another absolute batch that's again a 2021 batch where Professor Shabana is going to take verbal, Professor Neha is going to take LRDI, and Professor Udit will take the math, right? So any of these batches are great places to kickstart your preparation, right? In 2021, believe me, a lot of things people are waiting to kickstart. Going out, having a virus-free atmosphere, and having a good preparation for your CAT, right? Along with this, there's an iconic batch that has just started. Again, a lot of batches started this Monday. So here you're going to be mentored by people from the IIMs. You will also have personal mentorship, right? Test analysis, personal reports. So it's really one of the best batches to be a part of. We have also launched the Ask a Doubt feature where students can actually ask a doubt at any point of time. You don't have to wait for a particular instructor to be available. You don't have to wait to be a part of a batch, right? कोई भी समय आपको अगर CAT के मोड पे कोई तनाव आता है तो you can go ahead, click a photo, send it to us, and we will solve your doubt as soon as possible, which is then, right then and there, your doubt will be solved, right? So do check out this feature, Ask a Doubt. It is Unacademy is the only place that allows students to get their doubts solved as soon as they get it, right? So do check it out. Along with that, guys, there's an Unacademy Champions League that is starting from 3rd of January. Every alternate Sunday, you can participate in a test, take an exam, and win exciting prizes and scholarships, both within the Unacademy app and some vouchers that you can use outside as well, right? Imagine, ek to ye aapke bhale ke liye, and then we pay you for it. So nothing can be better than that. Finally, there's another perfect score batch that is again starting on 1st of January with Professor Shabana, Professor Ravi Prakash, and Bharat Gupta. Stick on all these things, guys. You have to go to the Unacademy app for that, take subscription. Let's talk about this a little bit more towards the end, and let's get down to the business of cracking XAT questions. This is the first question, and I'd like to give you all a minute approximately to solve this, and then we will discuss it. Yeah, so just go ahead, solve the question. I can take a small water break. All right. So not a horrendous question compared to XAT standard. Some of the XAT questions can be super bad. I'm just looking. Okay, here it is. So you have 200 liters of acid solution, that is 15% acid. You want to mix it with 30% to get anything between 20 to 25. So now you have to ask yourself, right? कि original अपना जो है वो 15% का है. What you're adding to it is something that is more acidic, that has more acid, it is 30%. So as you keep adding, the 15% will keep rising. So somewhere it's going to reach 20%, then it's going to rise till 25%, and that's where you have to stop. So you have to start here, you have to stop here. Okay, so let's find the minimum that we need to add by finding out how will we get 20%. So if we mix 15 with 30, right, to get 20, the ratio of mixing is going to be 10:5, which is nothing but 2:1. If this is 200 given to us, right, if it is given to us that this is 200, hence this will be 100. Correct? Great. So minimum we need is 100 liters. 120 nahi, we need 100 liters. So we can eliminate option 1 and option 3. Going forward, let's see what happens when we reach the maximum limit. Our maximum limit is 25%. We cannot go beyond that. So if I want 25%, right, just a second. Yeah. If I want 25%, the ratio of mixing has to be 5:10, which is 1:2. If this is 200, then this is 400. So the maximum it can reach is 400, and that, guys, is option 3, between 100 to 400. Right? Great. Next question. To try this, I'll give you all a minute. Great. Let's look at how to solve this. So whenever in life, right, you face a question that says find the minimum value of something, find the maximum value of something, and you have a quadratic equation, always try and complete the squares. Okay, remove perfect squares out of whatever is given to you. So clearly एक 4xy है, and we have an x square plus this will need 4y square for completion, right? So how do we find the third term? You take the middle term, correct? You take the middle term, from there you remove 2, correct? Because you have a square plus 2ab plus b square. So to find b, you will have to remove 2. You will have to remove root of the first term, correct? So you will be left with 2y. And your third term hence will be 2y the whole square. So it's going to be 4y square, correct? So next, you are यहाँ से 4y square we used up. Now we are left with 2y square. So 2y square minus 4y plus 4. I will write this as plus 2 and another 2. Okay. So this works out to x plus 2y the whole square. Correct. The first part is x plus 2y the whole square. The second part, I can remove 2 common. Y square minus 2y plus 1. So this is twice of y minus 1 the whole square. Plus 2. Okay. So this is going to be perfect square plus perfect square. Right now, a perfect square can be 0 or positive. So minimum value of this is 0, minimum value of this is 0. So the minimum value overall is 2. Correct? So answer is option 3, which is 2. So great. Let's look at the third question. Guys, do solve this. I'll give you all a minute and then we'll solve it together. X be a 4-digit positive integer such that the units digit of X is prime. So you have a 4-digit number and the units digit, right? That is prime. So what is a single digit prime number? What are the single digit prime numbers that we know of? There is of course 2. Let's not forget the 2. Then there is 3, then there is 5 and there is 7. So your units digit, right? Your last digit can be 2 or 3 or 5 or 7. 4 ways to fill only the units place. Now the product of all digits of X, that is also prime. Okay. So you have A1, A2, A3 product. If that is prime, right? And your one digit is already prime, your prime can only be multiplied with 1 to keep it prime. That means all these 3 digits have to be 1. Correct? So you'll have 1, 1, 1 with 2, with 3, with 5 and 7. So you have 4 possibilities. That's your answer. ऐसे इजी क्वेश्चंस XAT में बहुत कम मिलते हैं. When you get such a question, guys, उसको दोनों हाथ से पकड़ लीजिए, right? Don't let it go. Moving forward. Yes. To give this a shot, guys, I'll give you all a minute, then we'll solve it. So whenever you have questions of this form where, straight away they're starting by saying people are either graduates or they're engineers, right? So you have a two-set thing where the sets are mutually exclusive. If the sets are not mutually exclusive, of course you'll use Venn diagrams, but whenever they are mutually exclusive, to keep the confusion out, it is better to use a 2x2 table. Right? So on one side you have graduates and you have engineers, and here you have more than 5 lakhs and less than, right? Less than equal to 5 lakhs. Now let's say the total number of employees is 100. Why 100? Because everything is in percentages, right? So 40% of the hundreds are graduates, so remaining 60 must be engineers, and 75% of the engineers, right? So that is 3/4 of the engineers. Those guys are making more than 5 lakhs. अब इससे अगर लोग engineering नहीं करेंगे तो पता नहीं कब करेंगे, right? So 75% of those people are making more than 5 lakhs. The remaining 15 are making less than 5 lakhs, right? And they also tell us that 50% more than hai and 50% hence less than hai. So now you can fill up the whole table. This is 5 and this is 35. So what proportion of the general graduates, what proportion of 40 earn rupees 5 lakhs or less? So you're looking at 7 by 8, which is none of the above. Right? Great, guys. Moving on to the next question. Do give this a shot. So here you have an equilateral triangle ABC. BD is half of CD, right? So here is where you have your point D, correct? BD chota hai, CD ka आधा hai, and the side is 3. So if this is 2x, this will be x, right? So 2x plus x is 3, guys, and hence x is 1. Yeah. So x is 1. Now we have to find the length of AD, which is this length. Right? Excuse the geometry diagram. So let's drop a perpendicular. Okay. Now a perpendicular from point A to BC will also bisect BC because it is, right, it is also going to bisect BC, right, because this is the midpoint, right? It's an equilateral triangle. This is the common side. This is 90 degrees. These two sides are equal. So using hypotenuse side theorem, right, these two triangles are congruent and hence this is the midpoint. So ye hoga 1.5, 3 ka adha. This whole thing, let's call it x, right? Bx is also going to be 1.5. BD is going to be 1 and XD is going to be 0.5. So now AD is the hypotenuse, correct, in a right angle triangle with XD as 0.5 or rather half. And I can find the height AX of an equilateral triangle very easily. It is root 3 by 2 into side, right? It is 3 root 3 by 2. So great. Now we can easily find AD. It is going to be AX square plus XD square the whole root. So this is going to be 27 by 4 plus 1 by 4, right, which is 28 by 4, which is 7. And of course, let's not forget the root. So answer is going to be root 7, right? Great. Moving on. Next question. Another minute, guys. Just quickly have a look. Great. So two poles of height 2 and 3 meters. So this is 2 meters height. This is 3 meters height. They are at a distance of 5 meters. Right? When you draw this line to the opposite, the point of intersection, you want this distance. Right? Let's say this is x, you want to find x. So for our understanding, let's quickly number everything. So now let's focus on triangle ABC and compare it with triangle CEF. Right? So because EF is parallel to AB, these two angles are going to be equal. This is a common angle. So basically these two triangles are similar. Right? When the two triangles are similar, what can we say? That the heights, the ratios, the sides, right? They're all in the same ratio, same proportion. So EF upon AB is going to be CF upon BC. Right? So EF is what we need to find out. So x over 2 is going to be, now again, since we have the length of 5, right? This 5 also will be broken up in the same ratio. Here you will have 3, right? And here you will have 2. So this is going to be 3 by 5. So x is going to be 1.2, 6 by 5, right? First option. Generally, if you can remember this as a thumb rule, you know, if this is A, this is B, and this is C, then the answer is going to be AB by C. Right? Great, guys. Let's move on. A minute for you to solve it. Yeah. So ABCDF has a perimeter of 36, which means each side, right? AB, CD, BC, whatever, each of these sides are 6. Okay. Now we need to find out the shaded region. How will we find that, guys? We'll find the area of the hexagon. From that, we will subtract the area of all the 6 sectors. So, right, they are called sectors. ये है one sector, ये second sector है, right? Third sector, fourth sector, fifth sector. We have to subtract all these 6 sectors from the hexagon, right? And then you also have to subtract this circle in the middle, correct? So great. How will we find the hexagon? Hexagon is basically 6 equilateral triangles, right? So you have 6 triangles. एक triangle का area is root 3 by 4 into side square. So this is going to be 6 into root 3 by 4 into 6 square. So that is going to be 54 root 3. Okay. Now comes the 6 sectors. What is the radius of that? So the side, each of these sides are 6. The radii of each of the circle, right? That is 3. Okay. So ये जो 6 sector है, they all have a regular angle of 120 degrees. Okay. Which means out of the 360 degrees in a circle, these guys occupy only 1/3 of the area. So 6 of these sectors is the same as 6 into 1 by 3. 2 circles it's equal to. Right? And then if you look at the beach ka circle, that is 3 circles. Okay. So each circle is what area? R is 3. So each circle is 9 pi. And 3 circles is going to be 27 pi. So the answer is fifth option, 54 root 3 minus 27 pi. Right? Great, guys. Next question. Two questions. So let's, I'll give you all 2 minutes and then we'll solve both the questions together. Okay. A1, A2, An, they are n points on the straight line y is equal to px plus q. So y and x, they are connected with a linear equation. Right? The equation is linear. The coordinates of AK, they are given by xk and yk, where k, of course, the way the points are moving from 1 to n, k also is moving from 1 to n. Right? And you have an arithmetic progression right now. The coordinates of A2 is 2 comma minus 2. And A24 is 68 comma 31. Now, if x is in an arithmetic progression and y and x are linearly connected, y also will be in an arithmetic progression. Okay? So, when A moves from 2 to 24, that's a difference of 22 numbers, right? The y coordinate moves from minus 2 to plus 31, which is a difference of 33 numbers. So per number, it's moving by 1.5. And if I now need to find out A8, from A2, I'm moving by 6 numbers. So we'll move by 6 into 1.5, which is 9 units. So you start with minus 2, move 9 units. That means you end up with plus 7, which is the third option. Right? Great number of points satisfying the above mentioned characteristics and not in the first quadrant R. Okay. So what is the first quadrant, guys? How are the quadrants in an XY axis, right? What are the characteristics of each quadrant? First quadrant means X is positive and Y is positive. Okay. Second quadrant में X negative हो जाता है, Y is still positive. Okay. In third quadrant, both are negative. And in the fourth quadrant, X is positive and Y is negative. So you want to find out how many are there in the first quadrant. That's basically saying how many points do not have both X and Y positive. A better way is to say कि अगर कोई भी negative हुआ, it's not going to be in the first quadrant. So even if at least one of them is negative, we are going to count them, right? So obviously we are going to count the second point, A2. Right? And if you go back to A1, we know, okay, Y moves with a difference of 1.5. This point, Y is going to continue to remain negative. So there are already 2 points here. Now if we move to A3, X positive है वो positive ही रहेगा, correct? Because it's moving further till it reaches 68. So technically, if you want, you can find out that x moves from 2 to 68, which is a difference of 66. Right? And 66, it moves for 22 points. So per point, it is moving by 3. Correct? Per point, it is moving by 3. So you can find out, yes, this is positive. A3, ye hoga, 5 hoga, and then it's going to remain positive. It is the y that we need to catch. Okay. The minus 2 पे 1.5 add करेंगे, still it is going to be minus. But A4 onwards, both are going to be positive. So these are the 3 points that are going to have y as negative. Right? Here, in fact, x also will be negative, but that doesn't matter. Y is negative in all 3, and that is your answer. 3 points. Next question, guys. Yes, do solve it quickly, then we'll discuss it. Okay, so you have a bracket operation, right? What does the bracket operation do? First of all, it tells us that 1 is defined as 2. And then for any other value, you just multiply the breakup, right? The addition-wise breakup, and multiply the two brackets. So for example, if I have to find out 2, I can write it as 1 plus 1. And hence it can be written as 1 bracket into 1 bracket, which is 4. If I have to find out 3 ka, right, I can write this as 2 plus 1 ka breakup, which is 1 and 2 ka breakup, right? So that is 4 into 2, it is 8. So I hope we can straight away see the pattern, right? This is 4 into 4, 16. That this bracket x is nothing but 2 raised to x. This is 2 raised to 1, this is 2 square, this is 2 cube, right? So it is 2 raised to x. Okay. If this is 1022, okay. So now summation 1, that is just 2. 1 plus 2 is 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 14. So now if we see the pattern, this is 4 minus 2. This is 8 minus 2. This is 16 minus 2, right? So the summation of n is nothing but 2 raised to n plus 1 minus 2. So if I want to find out 1022, that is nothing but 2 raised to 10 minus 2. And hence comparing here, we will see n has to be equal to 9. Second option. Next option, next question, guys. Please have a look at this. Yeah, time, speed, distance. Some people love them, some people hate it. Yeah. Okay, so we have Amarendra and Dharmendra as brothers. One day they start at the same time, right? Where Amarendra takes 25 minutes to reach the station. Okay. After reaching, he finds that Dharmendra is 2.5 kilometers away. So 25 minutes when Amarendra was traveling, right? Dharmendra was 2500 meters away. Now they started at the same time. So why is Amarendra ahead of Dharmendra? Because Amarendra is faster. So what is the difference in the relative speed? So for 25 minutes the difference was 2500. For 1 minute it would be 100 meters as a difference, relative speed difference. And hence for 1 hour, right, 100 meters is 0.1 of a kilometer. For 1 hour, which is this into 60, the relative speed is a difference of 6 kilometers per hour. Correct? So here we are. The distance of Tata Nagar is 15 kilometers. So if Amarendra took 25 minutes, which is 5 by 12 of an hour, to cover 15 kilometers, his speed, right? This is 5 za and this is 4 za, right? His speed is 36 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now 36 kilometers per hour is Amarendra, so Dharmendra is going to be 30 kilometers per hour. Okay. 30 kilometers per hour, that is how you get a difference of 6 kilometers per hour. Now, next day, Dharmendra starts 7 minutes early. Now, Amarendra is still going to take his 25 minutes, but Dharmendra now has 32 minutes to spare because he left 7 minutes early, right? And each distance is still 15 kilometers, so Amarendra will take half an hour, which is 30 minutes. So when he has 32 minutes to spare and he reaches in 30 minutes, he will reach 2 minutes earlier than Dharmendra, right? And hence Dharmendra will reach the station 120 seconds later. Dharmendra, right, is the guy who is 7 minutes early, correct? So he will reach earlier and hence Amarendra will reach later. So I'm just, these names are also confusing, okay? Answer is second option. Great, guys. Do the next question. So I like to think of clock questions as actually race questions, correct? Circular race में लोग भागते हैं और clock में hour hand और minute hand भागता है, correct? So what is the race track? Since usually these things are in degrees, right? Everything happens in degrees. Your full circle is 360 degrees. So the race track that I take is 360 meters. That your, hour hand and minute hand, they are running 360 meters. Now your minute hand, starting from, 12 o'clock, when one full hour gets over, it covers one full circle again in 1 hour. So it covers 360 degrees in 60 minutes. So it covers 6 degrees per minute, right? That is your minute hand. Your minute hand is the faster guy here. Tall people are faster, right? Okay. Second, how does your hour hand run? So in 1 hour, your hour hand starts right from one particular hour and then it just finishes 1 hour. It doesn't do a full cycle. It does in a clock, right? You have 12 hours on a dial. So it just done 1/12 of the circle, right? Which is 30 degrees. 1/12 of 360 30 degrees. Okay. Now 30 degrees it covers in 60 minutes. So our hand is doing half a degree per minute. So the relative speed per minute for both of them is 6 minus half, which is 5.5 degrees per minute. And hence in 2 minutes it will move by 11. Second option. Right, next one. You have two data sufficiency questions. You mark 1 if statement 1 alone is sufficient. You mark 2 if statement 2 alone is sufficient. You mark 3 if both statements are needed. You mark 4 if each alone are sufficient. And you mark 5 if you need more information. It still cannot be solved. So why don't you try the first one, guys? All right. So you have to find this angle, right? You have to find PAS. What is given? That PQ is 3, RS is 4, and when you drop, right, this angle here is 60 degrees. So if I drop a perpendicular, I can find this height. I can find QX using 30, 60, 90, right? That the side opposite the right angle, the hypotenuse is 3, so the side opposite 60 is going to be 3 by 2 root 3. Now I can similarly find Ry. Ry is nothing but Qx because they are parallel. So I have Ry, right? I also have Rs as 4, correct? I can find Ys, and knowing the three angles, I will also be able to find the angle PSA. So if I know one angle, if I know the second angle, then I can easily find the third angle. So one alone is sufficient. Okay, one alone is sufficient. What happens if you look at two alone? Here you just have, okay, the bottom is 10 and the top parallel line is 5. But how are the top and the bottom connected? The closer I keep 5 to 10, right, the more obtuse the angle will be. And the upper I keep, right, the more acute the top angle will be. So 2 alone not sufficient. Answer here is 1 because statement 1 alone is sufficient, right? Try the second question, guys. Okay. So yes, you have to find the GCD between A900 and A1000. Now, if I can find out any of the values, any of the A's, I can use this formula to find A's uske aage uske piche, right? For example, if I find out A3 is 5, I can find out A4 as 5 square plus 126. I can go back and find out A2, right, as 5 is equal to an square plus 1. So I can find out an is 2, right? So I can find out the values. And it's a sequence of positive integers, so you don't need to worry about plus minus. Okay, so given any one value of A, I can find out A900, I can find out A1000, and hence I can find the GCD. Option 1 gives you one of the values, option 2 gives you another value. Each of these values is sufficient. So answer is 4, each alone. Right? Next question, guys. To try this. So we have A, B, C, D, they are in a geometric progression. What does that mean? That A is the first term, correct? B is going to be A into some common ratio, C is going to be A into, R squared, and so on and so forth. Also, all of these guys are integers. That means R also has to be an integer, R cannot be a fraction. Okay, can R be 1? If R is 1, then all of them become 1. But we know that B is greater than A, C is greater than B, so R cannot be 1. The next smallest integer R can be is 2. Okay, the next common integer R can be is 2. So starting with A, now since I want to minimize, right, the denominator, because I want to maximize the value of the fraction. If I want to maximize 1 over LCM, I want to minimize LCM. So since I want to minimize LCM, I'll take A as 1. A can be 1, right? And then B becomes 2, C becomes 4, D becomes 8, and E becomes 16. Okay? So LCM of A and B is 2, B and C is 4, C and D is 8, and D and E is 16. So you'll get 1 over 2 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 8 plus 1 over 16. You'll get 15 by 16. Right? Second option. Any doubts here, guys? Great. Next question. So this is a tricky question. Do give it a shot, then we'll solve it together. This is a slightly tricky question, 16 and 17. Yes, so what is the thing that's complicating this question? You have to understand that Books and More, they sell books, right? And these percentages, all that, they are the sales percentages, they are not the cost percentages. Okay, so let's see how to solve the first question. Books and More have earned 20% profit overall. So let's say the cost of Books and More is 100. So the sales of Books and More, that is 120. Why 120? Because 20% overall profit. Okay. Now, this 120 of sales, उसमें से 35% comes from music series, which means 42 rupees comes from music series. Now, this 42, right, has a profit percentage of 40%. Okay, if I remove that, the cost price has to be 30, correct? So 30 into 1.4 takes us to 42. So out of the total sales, itna sales and itna cost we have been able to understand. Going further, books is 50% more than that of music CDs. So books must be 63. Sales again. And hence their cost is going to be 63 divided by 1.25, because 1.25 of the cost is equal to sales. Correct? So divided by 1.25, ये हो जाता है 50.4. Okay. Now out of the total sales, 4263 is used up, so the third component has to be 15. And out of the total cost, 80.4 is used up, so the cost component here has to be 19.6. So you net have lost 4.6 over the cost of 19.6, which is a little less than 25%. Correct? 4.9 would have been exactly 25%. This is a little less than that, so it's 23.4%. Any doubts here, guys? Great, try the next one. Gillu tissue. Chokku or gillu. Great, now let's see how to solve this one. So we know sales breakup, we have already done for 120, correct? That 42 is music series, 63 is books, and 15 comes from your film DVDs. Okay. Cost wise, यहाँ से 30 है, यहाँ से 50.4 है. Now what should be the cost here? So 15 you're getting after you've made 50% loss. That means original yes here must be 30. So if I add up all of that, if I add up all of this, I get 110.4, जिस पे we have made a profit of 9.6. So the answer is going to be a little less than 9, which is second option. Any doubts here, guys? Try solving this one. Okay. So normally, right, what happens in all these questions is that you have some volume that is still, left. And when you start putting bricks, it uses up that volume that is left. So in normal questions, right, you would have said, okay, we have so much, 150 into 120 into 100, and out of which all this is already used up. So we have, some X to use up, and each of these bricks takes up so much volume. So what is your answer? But here there's a slight difference. These bricks are porous. Okay, which means when you put them in the tank, they don't completely displace their volume. They drink some of the water and less volume is displaced. Okay, so since they absorb 1/10 of the volume in water, correct? So the 10th they do not contribute, they only contribute 90% of their volume. So 20 into 6 into 4 hence becomes 18 into 6 into 4. It becomes 90% of itself. That is what each brick is using. Okay. Now let's start with this. Total volume kya hai? We have 180, which is 15 and 12, followed by 4 zeros. Now when you subtract 12816, 00, right? You are left with 5184. When you divide it by 18 into 6 into 9, you are left with 1200 bricks. Great, guys. Next question. To give it a shot. All right. Chance of India. So this is a 2010 question. पर अभी भी इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया के मैचेस चल रहे हैं एंड थैंकफुली आफ्टर दैट डिबैकल ऑफ 36 we now have some good news, right? And yeah, we can talk about this without feeling too much pain. अगर मैं एक हफ्ते पहले ये क्वेश्चन पूछती तो somebody must would have thrown a brick at me, right? So anyway, coming back to this, India winning a cricket match against Australia is 1/6. What is the minimum number of matches it should play so that there is a fair chance? So what does fair chance mean? Fair chance means 50-50%. Correct? Okay, 50% India can win at least one, and then 50% India will not win at least one. Okay. Now, at least one, whenever you see in your life, will always stand for 1 minus none. So 1 minus none means India does not win any of the matches, right? So starting from, let us say, 3, 4, or 5, or 6 as the answer, let's pick up the middle number 4. And you say, okay, let's see what happens when they play 4 matches. Right? So it's going to be at least one winning is 1 minus none. Okay. So it does not win any of the 4 matches. So one match winning is 1/6. One match not winning is 5/6. So it does not win 4 matches means 5/6 raised to 4. So 5 by 6 square is 25 by 36 and raised to 4 is 625 over 1296. So if you see, if this has to be at least half, if this has to be at least 15%, this part has to be less than half. And you see here it is just less than half. So answer should be 4 matches. Right? Great. Next one. ये ऐसे questions 20th वाले, as I said, बहुत कम आते हैं XAT के. You should just catch it and hold on to it. So has to send chocolates of 3 brands to a shopkeeper. All the brands are packed in boxes of the same size. You need to send brand A के 96, B के 240 and C के 336. Each carton has the same number of boxes and only one brand. Right? Same number of boxes, only one brand. So the number of boxes in a carton will divide 96, will divide 240, will divide 336. Also, you want to find the minimum number of cartons. So you'll find the maximum divisor. So the HCF of all these three, right, is 48. So you'll need 2 boxes of brand A, 5 boxes of brand B, and 7 boxes of brand C, which is 14. Second option. Right, next one. So yes, now we move on to 2011, guys. We've done 2010 questions. In 2011, there was differential marking. So each question had a different mark allotted to it, right? So the first question here, you have 1 mark allotted to it. So do try this, guys, and we'll discuss it. Ten houses in a row. On a particular night, a thief planned to steal from 3 houses. In how many ways can he plan such that no 2 of them are next to each other? Okay, so we don't want any 2 of them next to each other. That means what are we looking for, guys? We are looking at 7 houses separating the 3 houses from which the thief will steal. So in such questions, guys, right, you always have such questions that no 2 men will sit together, no 2 boys will sit together. In such cases, always go for putting in the separators first. So ये जो 7 houses है, they are going to separate these 3 houses. So we'll first arrange the 7 houses. These 7 houses, because there is, no arrangement here. You just want to place the houses, right? The thief is not going to steal from here. There is no order of arrangement, correct? It's only the remaining 7 houses. They can be arranged in exactly one way. Now, around the 7 houses, there are 8 positions. Your 3 houses can come in any of these 8 positions and they won't be together. So, to select 3 positions from this 8, fill it up with your houses, and then your thief can steal from that. This value is going to be 8 into 7 into 6 divided by 3 factorial, which is going to be, 6 will cancel off, 56. So option 1, right? Great, guys. Next question. Try this. So AN is, 1, 1, and so many ones. Then what can we say about A741? What is A741? It is 1, 1, 1, 1 written 741 times. Now, obviously, this number is not even. It's ending in 1. It's not an even number. Is it a multiple of 3? So how do you find whether a number is a multiple of 3 or not? You find out the sum of the digits. So sum of the digits here is 741. This is divisible by 3. So this number is divisible by 3. And hence, I can say categorically that 741 is not a prime. Similarly, 534, A534, right, is 111 written 534 times. Summation will be 534. Again, this is a multiple of 3. So this also will be divisible by 3, not a prime. Correct hai. Ye correct hai, ye correct hai. 123, again sum of the digits is 123. So this is also not a prime. And hence the answer is, if you see all the options, right, 1, 2, 3 sub correct means answer has to be option 4. All of them are correct, right? Great, moving on. It's a tough question. You can see that totally one question is 3 marks and the other question is 2 marks. Right? So just give it some time. Yes, people who have just joined in, do put in your answers here for the first question and we can discuss it. All right, let's see how to do this. So as usual, right, you have two lines parallel. You should always think of similar triangles, right? So if we just name this, you have A, B, C, D, and E. Your triangle EDC is going to be similar to triangle ABC, right? Same right angle. C is the same angle, so the third angle also has to be equal, right? And यहाँ पे the two sides, the ratio is 1:4. So if the height of the lighthouse is h, BC is going to be 4 times that, BC is going to be 4h. If BC is 4h, BD is going to be 4h minus 24. Right? So this is one important fact. Let's keep this aside. Okay, BD is 4h minus 24. Okay. Now in a very similar analysis, right, with a very similar analysis, we can look at what happens when he goes to the east. अभी तो साउथ, अभी लाइट हाउस है, लाइट हाउस इज गोइंग टू थ्रो लाइट इनडिस्क्रिमिनेटली प्रॉपरली ऑल अराउंड, तो ईस्ट में भी जाएगा तो सेम स्टोरी होगा, पर ईस्ट में ये 6 है तो ये 30 है, राइट? सो योर पैरेलल to your base is 1:5. So in this case, now let me just name this as AB, X, Y, and Z, right? So since EX and XY, sorry, what am I writing? Since ZX and XY, they are in the ratio 1:5, AB and BY, right? BY also will be 5 times AB, it will be 5H. And BX is going to be 5H minus 30. Okay, so these are two very important things that we find out. Okay, now let's go a little further. Let's see what happens between these two times. एक तो है वो साउथ में, फिर अचानक वो आ जाता है ईस्ट में, तो ईस्ट और साउथ के बीच में स्टोरी क्या है, राइट? सो व्हाट हैपेंस बिटवीन द टू इज, he's first, he travels in some direction southwards. From there, he moves towards the east, right? So, using our normal calendar, if this is south, this is east. So, he's going to move towards east at 90 degrees. Now, south से east is a straight 90. ये length we found out is 4h minus 24. This length is 300 meters. He's moving 300 meters eastward. So, that the new length is 5h minus 30. So this is the triplet that you need to solve, that 5h minus 30 the whole square is 4h minus 24 the whole square plus 300 square. Okay. Okay. So when you solve this, you get 25h square minus 300h plus 900 is equal to 16h square minus 192h plus 576 plus 9 followed by 4 zeros. So that will give you 9h square minus 492, sorry. Right, you get everything on one side. This is 0. So that gives you 9h square, 108. Okay. This difference, 576 and 900, that is 324. And now we can get rid of the 9. So you have h square minus 12h plus 36 minus 1000. So this, you can see this as 106, right? If you put h as 106, that value works. So it's minus 106 plus 94. This is what will work. So the h minus 106, right, into h plus 94 is equal to 0. So either h is 106, which is okay, but h equal to minus 94 does not work. H cannot be negative. So the height of the lighthouse is 106. Okay. Any doubts here, guys? Great. Moving on. What is the horizontal distance of the man from the lighthouse in the second position? So that is 5 into 106. That is the second position, right? Minus 30, which is 530 minus 30. It is 500, which is your third option. Great. Difficult question here, guys. I'll be the first one to admit this. But there are more marks also attached with this. Okay. So moving on. Yeah, I've just put a diagram here for your help. Correct. So ये south में है, and when it moves towards the east, of course, it's the same story. Only we are just, because of the three-dimensional aspect, ये थोड़ा ऊपर लगता है. And then this is your triangle made, Pythagoras triangle. This is 90 degrees. Okay. Guys, solve this one. Okay, let's see how to solve this. So by now, right, you see 7, you see 25. You should think of the 7, 24, 25 triplet. Okay. Now the base of the ladder sirak raha hai. It's going away, and this also drops. Correct? But this is still 25. So why don't you spend a few seconds, pause the video if you want to, and think about another triplet with 25. What is that other triplet? It is 15, 20, 25. That's it. Job done. So ये 7 has to become 15, मतलब 8 ज़्यादा. 24 has to become 20, मतलब 4 कम, and this 4 is half of 8. This 4, so this is what you want, that the top comes down by half the distance. So that's it. Your distance has to be 8. And of course, it's tempting to mark the second option. But remember, open brackets, this means that x lies between 5 and 8, not inclusive. Closed brackets mean that x can be 5 also, it can be 8 also. So even the XAT gave 5 as the answer, and 5 is the answer because x is equal to 8, which is not in this range. Okay. So this is of course the more intuitive way of solving it. कि 25 के साथ कौन सा है. The second, you can of course use the Pythagoras triplet here equation. You start with 7, 24, 25. जब आप उसको x से खींचते हो, तो ये x by 2 से drop होता है. So your second equation is the 7 plus x the whole square plus 24 minus x by 2 the whole square. That is equal to 25 square. So this is what you can solve. Again, when you solve this, you get x is equal to 8. Right? Great, guys. Next question. This is a 3-mark question. So solve this, do give it a shot. So what is the only condition that we have to stick to if we want to take the log of a number? Right? Because when we are saying कि domain पता कीजिए, we want to know the values of x for which this function can be applied, for which f of x can be applied, right? So it's a log function, so you have to ask yourself, okay, what is the constraint? So the constraint is that whenever I apply a log function, it can only be on a positive number. So log to the base 7 of whatever number this is, this has to be positive. So we can say log, right, to the base 3 of log to the base 5 of 20x minus x square minus 91, right? This has to be positive. Cannot be 0, it has to be positive, right? Which means that log of this to the base 5, this has to be greater than 3 raised to 0. 3 raised to 0 is 1, so this has to be greater than 1. अब ये लास्ट जो log 5 हम निकालेंगे, correct? So you can say 20x minus x square minus 91 has to be greater than 5 raised to 1, which is 5. So this has to be greater than 5. So now getting everything on the other side. So I usually like to keep my x square coefficient positive, right? So I'm just getting everything on this side. I'll get 0 से कम होगा x square minus 20x plus 91 plus 5, right? So basically, when is this equation negative? That is what you need to find out. So x square minus 20x minus 96 is negative between the points 8 and 12. It is 0 at 8, 0 at 12. On this side, it's positive. On this side, it is positive. Beach mate is negative, right? So our answer is going to be option 2. Right? Great. Moving on. Why don't you try this question? Then we'll see how to solve it. So this again, not a question that we'd like to meet in a dark on a dark night. 2 mark का question है, and it's very easy for us to miss out this word consecutive. So whenever I'm adding 1, 3, 4, 5, I'll have a problem because the next number is 1, 3, 4, 6. I'll have a carryover. I do not want a carryover. That means any of these numbers, they can be anything from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? Because even if I have 1063 and 1064, I'll have a problem. I'll have a carryover here. So because I'm adding two consecutive numbers, right? None of them can exceed the first pair. You cannot exceed 4. Okay? So the numbers are basically of this form. Okay, first digit is 1 and then ABC hai, and ABC can be anything from this 5. So there are 5 into 5 into 5, 125 possibilities. Next, we can always add, right? So this next thing that we can add is I can add 1009 with 1010. Why? Because this 9 becomes a 0 and there is no carryover. So it becomes 912019 and there is no carryover. So my units digit can be 9 and my tens digit can be A or B. So this can take place in 25 ways. And then finally, similarly, my hundreds can be 9. And this can be chosen in 5 ways. So totally I have 155 ways. And then of course I have 1999. Jiska next number is 2000 and there's no problem in adding it. So that is another extra and the answer hence is 156. Right? Great guys, next question. Try this one again, difficult question, 3 marks. Moves directly from 4 to 6, does never use 5. Normally when we work in base 10, right, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3 till 9, we have 10 digits at our disposal. And that is why we work in base 10. But in our case, in our question, the digit 5 is not available. So we only have 9 digits at our disposal. And hence this is base 9. So it is like writing the number in base 9. So when you have 3016, just write this in base 9. So it's 3 into 9 cube plus 0 into 9 square plus 9 plus 6. This gives you 729 into 3 plus 9 plus 6. And that is 2201. Sorry, 2202. But when I'm writing 6 here, it is because I missed out on 5. Otherwise, I would write 5 here. So you need to subtract 1 and hence answer is 2201. First option. Right guys, next one. Again difficult question, 5 marks का है ये question. So जरा गौर जरूर फरमाइएगा. Yes, try this, we'll discuss it. All right. So you have a square, right? उसका side भी दिया है. Square का side है 60. Now you're drawing two arcs, one with center at A, and that arc is BD. So it's going to be a little like this, right? Because the center is at A, आपका concavity ऐसा आएगा. And with center at D, you are drawing AC. Now you want to draw a circle that is tangential to AB. It is tangential here, and it is tangential here. So the circle can only be here. This is the area that is possible for the circle. Okay. So I know I don't draw well, right? Let's look at this far better diagram that we have. Correct? So this is our circle. Okay, this is our circle. Now what we are going to do is, we have to, as usual, always when you have such a case, we have to find a line that is common to both the arc and the chota circle. So one such line is OD. So what is OD? Since the square has side 60 and this is with center D, right? This also will be 60. So OD is going to be DQ plus QO. So it is going to be 60 plus the radius of the smaller circle. So it's going to be 60 plus R. That is OD, right? What is OS? OS is the full circle ka side, right? SR minus the radius of the chota circle OR. So it is going to be 60 minus R. So can I find DS? Yes, we can find DS, right? DS square is OD square minus OS square. So it is 60 plus R the whole square minus 60 minus R the whole square. So this is one thing done. Now, similarly, we can focus on this triangle, ARO. So first of all, AR and DS are the same. Okay. So let's find out AO. AP is 60. It is AP minus OP. Correct. So it is 60 minus R. That is AO. OR we know that is the radius. So it is R. So AR square is going to be 60 minus R the whole square minus R square. So now we can equate these two because they are equal, right? So you'll get 60 plus R the whole square minus 60 minus R the whole square is equal to 60 minus R the whole square minus R square. तो सब जगह R square cancel होता है, यहाँ पे R square इससे cancel होता है, यहाँ का R square इससे cancel होता है. We are left with 120R minus of negative 120R, which is plus, right, is equal to minus 120R, correct, and constant 3600. यहाँ ये side पे, left hand side पे, the constants also get cancelled, right? 3600 minus 3600. So you are left with 360R is equal to 3600. So R is equal to 10. Second. Right? Great. Let's do the next. And in fact, the last question. So do give this a shot, guys. It's a 2-mark question. So generally, when I have a point P and I have, a line AB, how do I minimize PA plus PB? If it is outside, I'll have to find this, right? And this will always be more than AB, triangle inequality. But if P lies on AB, then PA plus PP will actually be AB. So that is the shortest distance. Okay. So if I want to minimize this, right, I can ensure that P lies on LN, in which case PL plus PN is equal to LN. Can also ensure that P lies on MO. So let it lie on the intersection of these two diagonals, right? So it becomes PM plus PO, which is nothing but MO. So if I now plot these points, 0, 5, minus 5, 0, plus 1, minus 1, and minus 1, 5. So this is your trapezium. So the thing is, you can argue, okay, why are we not looking at, and let me just label the points. This is L, M, N, and O. You can argue, okay, why are we not putting P on LO? The problem is P cannot be on both LO and MN. But P can be on both LN and MO, and that's why we're looking at those values. So P is this point, and hence you just need to find these two sides, add it, and that's your answer. So this side, Ln, is nothing but 5 root 2, and OM is minus 1, 5, and this is 1, minus 1, right? So this is going to be root of 40, which is 2 root 10. So the sum of both of these two, the answer is going to be the second option. Great. So guys, I hope this really helped your XAT preparation. Please remember that after the IIMs, especially the top 3 IIMs, XAT is definitely in the top 5, not XAT, XLRI is definitely in the top 5 institutes in the country. So do not take this exam lightly, do well, right? I would really recommend, if you're looking at CAT 2021, to go for the Plus subscription, right? You can study anytime, anywhere, and you also have leaderboards to help you out, correct? So the point of all this is the leaderboards. And of course, you can ask a doubt anytime in class. So there are a lot of benefits if you're a part of the Plus subscription. So don't think too much. Go to the Google Play Store, search for the Unacademy Learning app, install it, and within that, go for the Plus CAT courses and get subscription, right? So we have the country's top 100 educators teaching on Unacademy app. And you get just so much variety, so much, there's a lot of democracy in आप कौन सा भी teacher choose कर सकते हैं to learn from. And we not only teach in English, guys, we teach in all languages, including Tamil, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, right? So if you're comfortable in some other language, then Unacademy is there to help you out, right? Besides that, one final thing, अभी जैसे कि हम XAT पे यहाँ YouTube पे focus कर रहे हैं, Unacademy has been focusing on the app, right? We have been focusing on the XAT for quite some time. So unlike other test prep institutes that focus on, these other exams only after the CAT is over, we don't do that. We do it right from the beginning. So if you have any other institute as a goal besides the IIMs, then the way we can hold your hands, guys, nobody else can, right? So great. Do use my code Munira10. Whenever you go for the subscription, you'll get a nice fat 10% bonus, right? If you focus on CAT 21, then you should go for the 1-year bonus, 1-year subscription, and hence bonus. If you're confused between 21 and 22, then you can go for the 2-year subscription, right? Do use my code Munira10. Unacademy, we do so many courses that I'm sure somebody in your family will be able to use the subscription for something or the other, right? So great, guys. See you soon. Best of luck for your XAT. Do like, share, and subscribe. And hope you do well, guys.